Cabinet clears One Nation, One Poll proposal. Nod to Kovind report on One Nation, One Poll.
A large number of political parties across the political spectrum have actually supported the One Nation, One Election initiative.
One poll bill likely in winter session. Allies JDU and LJP back One Nation, One Poll. Opposition says government will rig elections.
हम तो उसको नहीं मानते, ये नहीं चलने वाला है डेमोक्रेसी में। ये डेमोक्रेसी को टिकाना है तो जब जब चाहिए तब इलेक्शन करना पड़ेगा।
One Nation, One Election showdown. That is our top focus on 5 Live.
Now, in a big move to make One Nation, One Election a reality in India, the Union Cabinet has approved the Kovind report. Cabinet has given its nod for One Nation, One Election, which calls for simultaneous elections, Lok Sabha and the state assemblies to happen at once. And then we'll also have the local body polls simultaneously within the next 100 days after Lok Sabha poll ends. So the One Nation, One Election, a policy that was initiated by Prime Minister Modi, it seems like has finally got its approval by the cabinet, which also involves the BJP allies. Ramnath Kovind, former president, had, in fact, under him a panel was set up and they carried out a proper research into the modalities on how One Nation, One Election can be implemented. Sources tell India Today that the bill could be introduced as early as the upcoming winter session of the parliament. The Kovind report that's now been approved by the cabinet suggests simultaneous polls in 2 phases. Phase 1 will see Lok Sabha and the state assembly elections that will happen simultaneously. Phase 2 will be local body and municipal panchayat elections that will happen within the first 100 days after Lok Sabha polls. Opposition, meanwhile, lashing out at the Modi government, saying that simultaneous polls will only be all the more easier for the BJP to rig.
इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन 2 फेजेस में होगा, जैसा कि कमेटी के रिकमेंडेशंस में है। फर्स्ट फेज में लोकसभा और असेंबलीज के इलेक्शंस को साइमल्टेनियस कराने का प्रयास होगा और उसके सेकंड फेज में लोकल बॉडी इलेक्शन से जो है ग्राम पंचायत, जिला पंचायत, ब्लॉक में पंचायत समिति और जितने भी अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज हैं, चाहे म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज हो, चाहे म्यूनिसिपल कमिटीज हो, चाहे म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन हो, उन सब के लोकल बॉडी इलेक्शंस को विद इन 100 डेज ऑफ जनरल इलेक्शंस में करवाना, जिससे कि एक बार में सारे इलेक्शन का प्रोसेस कंप्लीट हो और फिर 5 साल तक सब के सब मेहनत करके देश के निर्माण में लगे। बहुत जल्दी विपक्ष में भी उनके अंदर से आंतरिक दबाव बनने न लग जाए कहीं, क्योंकि देश में करीब 80% ऑफ द रिस्पोंडेंट्स हु रिस्पोंडेड ड्यूरिंग द कंसल्टेशन प्रोसेस, 80% से ज्यादा लोगों ने इसको बहुत पॉजिटिव सपोर्ट दिया है, खासकर यूथ ने। यूथ इज वेरी मच इन फेवर ऑफ इट and we have seen there is a huge emphasis among the youth for having common elections, simultaneous elections, so that the progress of the nation keeps moving on unhindered. And we have seen that kind of support from the youth from various sections of the society. So over next a few months we will be creating that consensus, and that's why we have very clearly requested everybody that इसमें डिस्कशन करिए, डिटेल डिस्कशन करिए, डिटेल चर्चा करिए और जो भी विषय आएंगे उन विषयों को एड्रेस करके आगे बढ़ेंगे।
So what's One Nation, One Election? The case for One Nation, One Election rests on one crucial pivot, the possibility of improved governance. Let's deep dive into what exactly One Nation, One Election is and how it could be smoothly implemented, if at all. I'm taking you through this explainer. Let's have a look. What exactly is one nation, one election? To break it down for you, the concept here refers to holding simultaneous polls across the country. In fact, the proposal is to conduct elections for Lok Sabha as well as the state assemblies all at the same time. In India, the general elections to elect the members of parliament and state assembly polls are all held separately when the tenure of the incumbent government comes to an end or when it gets dissolved for some reason. Now, the concept, however, does not encompass panchayat elections or state municipality elections and by-election. Notably, one nation, one election concept is certainly not new. It was already in practice until 1967. In fact, India has held simultaneous polls even before. General elections and elections to the state assemblies were held together in 1952, in 1957, in 1962 and in 1967. The inception of this concept. In 1983, the Election Commission of India, the ECI, had suggested simultaneous elections. In 2003, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee took up the matter with the Congress President Sonia Gandhi. However, there wasn't much headway there. Then later in 2010, L.K. Advani said that he had already discussed the matter with Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. And over the years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been the one advocating and pushing for this idea of simultaneous Lok Sabha and state assembly polls. It was also one of the components of the BJP's election manifesto for 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Now, the pros and cons to it. Supporters of the one nation, one election often underline that once implemented, it would bring down the overall expenditure on the electoral process. As per reports, a whopping 60,000 crores was spent on the previous 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Now, simultaneous elections is also likely to boost voter turnout, making it quite convenient for the electorate to cast ballot at once. Another argument here favoring the simultaneous polls concept is that it will lead to a more efficient administration. During elections, the entire state machinery focuses on conducting a free and fair electoral process, which finally impacts the everyday administration because officials are, of course, engaged in polling duties. Now, the idea of one nation, one election is expected to bring consistency and continuity in policies as well as programs of the government. Now, the cons to it. This exercise is easier said than done. Holding just one mega election would be too complex an exercise in a huge and a diverse country like ours, India. The biggest challenge, of course, in the way of the one nation, one election is to sync the terms of the various state assemblies with those of Lok Sabha. The plan raises, of course, serious questions here. What would happen if the central or state government collapses mid-tenure? Would elections be held again in every state, or will there be precedence rule that will be imposed? The idea of one nation, one election does not square with the concept of federalism, as it is established on the notion that the entire nation is one, contradicting the content of Article 1, which envisages India as a union of states. Additionally, there is worry that regional issues might just get overshadowed. It may be just sidelined by national issues affecting the electoral outcome at the state level. Also, regional parties would in fact not be able to compete hard enough with national parties when it comes to election expenditure and strategy. A 2015 study by the IDFC Institute found a 77% chance that the winning political parties or alliance will win both the Lok Sabha and the assembly elections in the state when held together. Constitutional amendments. The Constitution also fundamentally does not allow simultaneous polls. 5 articles in the Constitution and the Representation of Peoples Act 1951 would have to be amended, and for this, every recognized state and national party would have to agree to this very change. For a constitutional amendment, 2/3 members of the House must be present for vote. A consensus of all political parties and state governments is, of course, needed. After the constitutional amendment bill is passed in the parliament, it then needs to be ratified by half the states in India through resolutions in their various assemblies. All right, now that we know how it really works, let me bring in Piyush Mishra to understand if all the NDA allies are on board with one nation, one election. Piyush, it's very interesting to see that this time the NDA allies all seem to have given consensus to one nation, one election. Is there a controversy or resentment that we don't know of yet? Would you want to reveal?
Nabila, if we talk about the NDA allies, LJP and JDU have now made it very clear that yes, they are in support of one nation, one election. But as far as the TDP is concerned. As of now, there's no official stand which has been taken by TDP. We were speaking to our sources within the TDP where they are telling us that as of now, their priority is to, focus on Andhra Pradesh because a lot of political developments and also the problems are there in Andhra Pradesh, and they are right now focusing on the development of Andhra Pradesh. But they will be able to make everything clear only after having a detailed discussion with the top leadership, which means with
Right.
Chandrababu Naidu, which has so far not taken place. So, though we have seen that the BJP was of the view since beginning, you would remember that before the Lok Sabha elections also, when the committee report was submitted to the President of India, at the time also, BJP had made it very clear that it is going to be the part of its manifesto, which indeed it was. Also, One Nation One Poll was part of 100-day agenda, and that is why we are seeing how the government is now trying to push it ahead. And today, and the Minister Ashwini Vaishnav made it very clear that it would be in the welfare of people. It is going to save a lot of time, a lot of energy,
Right.
and the money which will be saved will be used subsequently in the welfare of people. So, what is the way forward? Government sources have told us, Nabila, that now they are going to form an implementation group. They will have a detailed discussion, and as far as the bringing a bill on this is concerned, the government has made it amply clear that yes, this will be introduced in this tenure of NDA itself.
Okay, thanks very much, Piyush. Well, it appears One Nation, One Election has got the cabinet nod. The first hurdle has been passed, considering we're looking at multiple allies who are a part of the NDA, including the JDU and the TDP. Both big allies have, in principle, agreed and come on board with the idea of One Nation, One Election. Now, it's of course going to be tabled in the Parliament as early as the winter session of the Parliament is what is expected, but we're going to see how this pans out. Now, meanwhile, the opposition, of course, on the other hand, up in arms against One Nation, One Election, calling it undemocratic, saying it defies the concept of federalism, and a great opportunity for the BJP to rig the election is what the opposition says. Listen in.
A large number of political parties across the political spectrum have actually supported the One Nation, One Election initiative. When they interacted with the high-level committee, they gave their inputs in a very succinct manner, with a lot of clarity. And we have seen there is a huge emphasis among the youth for having common elections, simultaneous elections, so that the progress of the nation keeps moving on unhindered. And we have seen that kind of support from the youth, from various sections of the society.
हम तो उसको नहीं मानते, ये नहीं चलने वाला है डेमोक्रेसी में। ये डेमोक्रेसी को टिकाना है तो जब जब चाहिए तब इलेक्शन करना पड़ेगा।
खड़गे की भाषा केवल विध्वंसक भाषा होती है, निगेटिव होती है। ये खड़गे वही हैं जो देश को कहा था कि अगर 20 सीट और आ जाती तो मोदी सहित सबको जेल भेज देता। ये देश के विकास के लिए जरूरी है वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन। देश के लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के लिए जरूरी है, क्योंकि 2-3 महीने सारे फोर्स वहां लग जाते हैं। ये देश के प्रगति के लिए जरूरी है। और 1967 के पहले तो खड़गे बताएं ना, राहुल बताएं कि एक देश एक इलेक्शन होता था कि नहीं होता था, उसमें कौन सा नुकसान था? क्यों नहीं नेहरू उस समय इसको रोक दिया था?
One nation, one election is not at all practical in this country. They also know about that. They want to divert the attention of the present issues, from the present issues, this country. Certainly, it is not at all practical. India Alliance is not in favor of it. Congress party is not in favor of it.
ये मोदी जी का और भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एक और जुमला है। आप ये मुझे बताइए कि अभी 4 राज्यों में चुनाव होने थे, इन्होंने सिर्फ हरियाणा में और जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में चुनाव कराए, महाराष्ट्र और झारखंड में क्यों चुनाव नहीं कराए? ये 4 इलेक्शन एक साथ तो कराने की स्थिति में नहीं है, और ये बात कर रहे हैं वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन करेंगे। उसको भी छोड़िए, अभी हम ये कह रहे हैं कि झारखंड और महाराष्ट्र के साथ दिल्ली का आप चुनाव करा दो। ये पूरे देश में एक साथ 3 राज्यों के इलेक्शन कराने की स्थिति में नहीं है। वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन एक अगला जुमला है।
The government likes to float all these hot air balloons. How are they going to do one nation, one election? Which assemblies are they going to dissolve? This is nothing, but this is actually undermining the authority that state governments have in our democracy. These are democratically elected governments. You have no business to say that you will dissolve them. These are hot air balloons. This is not going to pass the muster of the House. And if this is not distraction, then what is? Are they going to dissolve the assembly in UP? Will they dissolve the assembly in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh? Or is this only going to be done to distract and, somehow distort the discourse?
One nation, one poll, ये असंवैधानिक है, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल। हमारा देश में एक केंद्रीय सरकार है, बहुत सा राज्य सरकार है। कभी केंद्रीय सरकार का आज पकड़ लीजिए, मोदी सरकार कॉन्फिडेंस लूज कर गया, सरकार गिर जाएगा। सरकार गिर जाएगा तो सरकार मेजोरिटी जब चलेगा, सरकार का तो गिरना ही होगा। तो पोल करना है, तो पोल करने के लिए देश में पूरा राज्य का सबको पोल करना होगा। ये तो नहीं होना सकता है।
Shifting our focus here on Rahul Gandhi, a remark made by the BJP calling Rahul Gandhi the number one terrorist has sparked huge protests by the Congress party workers who are out on the streets in multiple cities, including Delhi, Jaipur, Hyderabad, condemning the BJP, asking for an apology for it. BJP refuses to apologize. In fact, a formal FIR has been filed in Delhi as well against some of the BJP senior leaders, but the BJP Neta, particularly Ravneet Singh Bittu, who's made that comment calling Rahul Gandhi a terrorist, says he won't apologize, will not retract his statement. Now, this is sparked, of course, from Rahul Gandhi speaking about Sikhs and their religious freedom in India, in the United States, where he spoke about how it's difficult for the Sikhs to follow their religion in India. Let me take you through all the details in this report.
The fight is about whether he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear his turban in India.
Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi's remarks on the rights of Sikhs during his US trip have ignited a firestorm back home. The national capital saw twin protests on Wednesday. One outside the BJP headquarters and the other outside Congress headquarters. Effigies were burnt. Tensions boiled over as multiple Congress leaders were detained. The Congress protests were sparked by BJP leaders' statements labeling Rahul Gandhi as a terrorist, accusing him of attempting to divide the country.
देश के नंबर 1 टेररिस्ट अगर किसी को मेरे ख्याल से किस पे अनाम होना चाहिए पकड़ने के लिए, या देश का सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन जो जिसको लाना चाहिए एजेंसीज को, वो आज राहुल गांधी है।
अंग्रेज मर गए, औलाद छोड़ गए, तो ना ये मुसलमान रहे, न हिंदू रहे, न क्रिश्चियन रहे, न सिख हुए। ये तो ऐसी पांचवी जाति बन गई है। ये इनको किसी के साथ कोई सरोकार नहीं है। हिंदुस्तान से इनको कोई लेना देना नहीं है। हिंदुस्तान को लुटेरे के रूप में लूटने के लिए आए इटली से लोग।
Congress MP Ajay Maken on Wednesday filed a formal complaint against BJP leaders over their remarks.
चलिए, एक व्यक्ति ने कह दिया, हो सकता है उसके अपने निजी विचार हो, लेकिन ना तो उसके आकाओं ने, ना भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं ने उसको चुप कराने की कोशिश करी, ना उसकी भर्त्सना करी। ये कांग्रेस पार्टी है और ये राहुल गांधी है। जान से मारने की धमकी से हम लोग किसी भी तरीके से डरने वाले नहीं हैं।
Members of the India bloc, including Shiv Sena UBT, backed the Congress and condemned the BJP.
महाराष्ट्र के बीजेपी के जो अलायंस है, उनके एक विधायक और भी कुछ लोग सभी एक ही भाषा में बोल रहे हैं कि राहुल गांधी के ऊपर हमला करने। ये रशिया में होता है कि विपक्ष के नेता को खत्म किया जाता है, और भी देशों में हो सकता है जहां तानाशाही है, जहां लोकतंत्र नहीं है।
Despite the backlash, Union Minister Ravneet Singh Bittu refused to retract his comments.
टेररिस्ट किसको कहा जाता है? जो टेररिस्ट की बात एंडोर्स करे, जो टेररिज्म को प्रमोट करे। जब पन्नू और राहुल गांधी एक दूसरे की बात, एक दूसरे को एंडोर्स कर रहे हैं, एक दूसरे की वाह कर रहे हैं, तो और क्या होगा जी? और उसे क्या कहा जाएगा, ये बताओ।
BJP leaders have also criticized Rahul Gandhi for meeting with controversial US Congresswoman Ilhan Omar during his American trip, creating a new flashpoint in the growing political feud. With Ram Kinkar Singh in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Right, the Congress now upping the ante against the BJP over threats to Rahul Gandhi. Congress claims conspiracy against Rahul Gandhi, says a clear conspiracy under Prime Minister and the Home Minister. That's the knowledge that they have, that this is a conspiracy being hatched against Rahul Gandhi. The Congress vows legal action against Modi mantris for making such statements. This is KC Venugopal, senior Congress leader, who has spoken on this while upping the ante against the BJP over the threats that Rahul Gandhi has received. The Congress claims this is deliberate and is definitely in the know. The PM and the Home Minister are in the know of these kind of threats to Rahul. Listen in.
These statements are merely not a statements. This is clearly a threat, live threat to Honorable Leader of Opposition, Rahul Gandhi. For the last 1 week, the entire Prime Minister and Home Minister and then the Union Government is keeping silence. Again and again are repeating this type of statements are repeating. We think that this is a clear conspiracy under the knowledge of Prime Minister and Home Minister. But we would like to know from the government, what is your game plan on Rahul Gandhi? Because you are inspiring your people, you are motivating your people to attack Rahul Gandhi.
Let me cut to Maushmi Singh joining us for more on that. Maushmi, the Congress has taken this up seriously with an FIR that's been filed in Delhi against some of the BJP mantris. And also here you have KC Venugopal claiming that these threats are deliberate and have happened with the instructions of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, that they are in the know of this kind of threats that Rahul has received. Why don't you elaborate for us on what are these threats that Rahul Gandhi has received?
So clearly, Nabila, if you see that ever since these threats rolled out, this has snowballed into a huge controversy. And the Congress is leaving no stone unturned to hammer in the point that this is precisely what Rahul Gandhi has been pointing out, that there is no democracy in India and BJP is undermining the constitution bit by bit. If you see that the series of attacks that have been made on Rahul Gandhi and the statements that have been made, whether it's from an alliance partner leader or from Ravinder Singh Bittu or from any other leader of the BJP, the Congress says that these are violent threats that have been issued, and what is actually shocking is the studied silence that is being maintained by the top leadership, the top brass. This despite the fact that the Congress president is also written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, even the Home Minister under whose ambit the law and order does fall, he's also maintained silence, and this is actually a trend of the BJP, a tradition of the BJP that the leadership is also trying to propagate. So really on this, at this point, the Congress really thinks not only on the streets, they've taken this fight to the law and to the police station, and possibly the Congress would also in future be dragging this to the courts as well. We just saw Abhishek Manu Singhvi and KC Venugopal do a press briefing on this particular issue, and the Congress doesn't want to take it lying down.
Thanks very much, Maushmi, for joining us on that. We know the Congress has directed all its members and cadres across the country to mount pressure in the form of protests and ask for an apology for making such statements about Rahul Gandhi, calling him a terrorist, and also taking this up legally on the number of threats Rahul Gandhi has received. All right, now the probe into RG Kar hospital horror case is now intensifying. India today has accessed the remand note to extend the custody of Sandeep Ghosh, the former principal of RG Kar, and the Tala police station OC, Abhijit Mandal. Both individuals were confronted with witness statements and records, including call details. In fact, as we know, cross-questioning is currently underway. The CBI is scrutinizing CCTV footage from Tala police station, has requested custody extension to probe suspicious activities further. New mobile numbers of interest at this point. The CBI is looking into new mobile numbers that they suspect, and CBI seeking CDRs for these numbers to question the arrested cop Abhijit Mandal. Also, allegations from the deceased family that has now surfaced needs to be investigated as well by the CBI. They've identified potential suspects. Their movements are yet to be confronted with Sandeep Ghosh and Abhijit Mandal. More importantly here is, of course, the cops. At this point, the top cop has been replaced. Mamata Banerjee, in a way, has agreed to most of the doctors' demands. But here we understand the protesting doctors have refused to back off. They want another meeting with Mamata Banerjee with a host of other issues that they want sorted. Until then, they claim they will not get back to work. Let me take you through the cover-up bid that currently is being probed. Of course, these are angles that is being investigated by the CBI now. A cop there tried to sabotage the probe. Cop hurried the cremation. Family sought the second autopsy. Cop stalled the arrest itself. In fact, arrested police there tried to shield the rapist. The cop lodged unnatural death case. These are claims made by the family of the deceased, of Abhaya. The cop then made fake entries in the complaint. This is what the parents claim. RG Kar admin finally colluded, beg your pardon. RG Kar administration there have colluded with the police in Kolkata to keep the family members away as they cover up some details of this case. This is what the family claims. Arrested police delayed FIR for at least 14 hours. The cops took 2 days to seize rapist's clothes, and the police hand in glove with the hospital administration. In fact, while the parents claim these are the details that they want to be probed, the CBI also now looking into investigating in this very direction.